I don't think I've ever smiled so hard watching a trailer. So, like, okay. So first things first, like, when I watched the trailer, the one thing I noticed was that like Tobey Maguire wasn't in it, Andrew Garfield wasn't in it, and I was like, oh, this is looking a little sus. But then the trailer ends with having a pumpkin bomb, which is clearly Sam Raimi inspired, and then you have Doc Ock from those films, and it literally says multiverse. Like Doctor Strange says multiple times, this is the multiverse we're fucking with. So clearly these guys are from an alternate reality, which makes me assume it's from the Sam Raimi version. I really doubt what they're going to do is get 5 villains from a different world and have this Spider-Man beat them up without the original two to come and help. I really doubt it. So, that's the first thing. Second, it just wouldn't make a lot of sense and a lot of people would be pissed. So, I feel like what they're going to do is the Civil War marketing, where the first trailer focuses on the concept of what's going on, similar to how Civil War 1 did. Like, the first Civil War trailer focused on Cap and Iron Man and their fight over Bucky, and focused on the Superhuman Registration Act and shit like that. And they were fighting for that, the Sokovia Accords. That's what the first trailer was. The second trailer was super hype, and at the very last 5 to 10 seconds, Spider-Man comes in, steals the shield of Cap, and then lands perfectly and says, "Hey everyone," and the internet broke. I feel like that's what they're gonna do here. Is that the first trailer gets you hyped about the villains that could be coming, and then the second one shows, like Tom Holland getting his ass beat, or like it looks like he's really close, like it looks like he can't handle this, and then bam, Toby and Andrew come in to save the day. I think that's what's gonna happen. So it's funny because ever since this trailer first released, there's been people analyzing the shit out of it. And the one thing that you will always know is when it comes to superhero trailers, more often than not, and this is not an exaggeration, every single scene in a trailer is important. So, first things first, we know Electro is confirmed in this trailer, mostly because also he was already confirmed before the movie was even completed. And secondly, because, well, there's yellow electricity literally everywhere in this trailer. So Electro confirmed, Green Goblin confirmed by the Pumpkin Bomb, Doc Ock confirmed by visual appearance. Now there are 2 villains that are confirmed. We'll put huge quotations. They're in spirit, possibly. So the first one that's quote unquote confirmed by the fan base is Sandman, because there's a lot of sand in there. Now, while I would love to see Sandman come back, because I think that the guy who played him in Spider-Man 3, that was like the perfect fit for the character. I I'm on the fence of thinking if that character with the bunch of sand is Sandman, because here's the thing, Electro is powerful as shit. You don't think that him having like the power of electricity and hitting the ground could make a bunch of sand go up, or the fact of when he was first showing up to terrorize a bunch of people, you don't think that him with his immense power couldn't be using electricity, which would take in a lot of materials from everywhere, and just sand could be part of that too. That one's a little harder for me to believe, but because I really do feel like in this trailer they would have shown probably a sand monster if Sandman was coming back. So that one's a little more on the fence for me. However, I'll get back to later about how also I could see it working. I'll get back to that. The second villain teaser is an area where Peter's underground and like he's just vibing, chilling without any suit, and something tries to grab him, and he immediately gets scared. There's been 2 theories on it. One is Venom and one is Lizard. I don't know if I believe it's either one, because who knows, it could be just a random Doctor Strange villain that he has captured. The issue with that the issue with that is the fact that you see the claws and when you reddened up the image. And personally I feel like if I had to guess, I'd say it's the Lizard. Now, what I feel like they're gonna do with this movie is they're getting different villains from each movie, right? One from each movie of the last 5. So you get, you know, Green Goblin confirmed, Doc Ock confirmed, Sandman, that's a possibility. Then the first The Amazing Spider-Man, Lizard, possibility. Fifth one, Electro, confirmed. So you have three films confirmed. Spider-Man 1 and 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2. The only films that aren't not represented are Spider-Man 3 and The Amazing Spider-Man 1. Not to mention Vulture is already coming back, so that's confirmed. I have a hard time believing that Mysterio is still not alive. So he could be coming too, but although that makes 7 villains, I think they might just do like the multiversal Sinister Syndicate rather than the Sinister Six, which I'd prefer. And I really have a hard time that the Master of Illusions really died. Like, his whole thing is tricking you. You're gonna tell me he couldn't trick you again into believing he was dead? Like, I really have a hard time believing that. And if he is dead, most of his abilities came from illusion tech anyways. The people who were helping him use his illusion tech could just make it look like he's still alive and terrorize Peter. So, yeah, I really have a hard time believing that Toby and Andrew are not going to be in it. Not to mention if we get into leaks. So before this trailer came out, there was a leaked trailer. Man, that thunder and lightning is really bad. Before this trailer came out, there was a leaked trailer. The exact same version, except the VFX were not done. VFX basically translates to special effects. So, like, for instance, when you see the train, like, lapping over itself, that wasn't done. It just looked like he was in a white room or whatever. It was stuff like that. That trailer got leaked, and around that same time, there was 3 images that were circulating. One of Electro, one of Green Goblin, and one of Doc Ock, and those were circulating, and those were confirmed to be real because Sony started taking those down and using copyright infringement to take them down and say, you can't use these are not okay. They were also doing the same thing with the trailer. Now, interestingly enough, they also started doing this with a photo of Andrew Garfield in a Spider-Man suit. Now, for me, when I saw this Andrew Garfield in a Spider-Man suit, I initially thought it was a behind-the-scenes image of him on The Amazing Spider-Man 2, because it looks like he's wearing the exact same suit. However, people started pointing out that the hair that he has in that picture is more of a recent, like, hairstyle that he has, first and foremost, and second, the colors on the suit are darker. They're matching more of the colors of the suit from the first The Amazing Spider-Man film, but they have the design of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is interesting. So you have the darker colors with the style that everyone liked from The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So I was thinking, okay, if it's not, from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, it's probably just a fan edit of a, picture from The Amazing Spider-Man 2. However, Sony started taking that picture down apparently too, kind of confirming what we already know. Then, if you guys remember the black teacher from Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home, I don't know his name. He's the guy who kind of like is a comedy teacher, and he bounces off of the main white nerdy teacher that they're always around. He was in an interview recently, and the interviewer was able to slickly set in a question saying, "Hey, which one was like for you, the most interesting to watch on screen, to be a Spider-Man with Tom Holland? Like, which Spider-Man, when they were next to Tom Holland, did you think was like, you know, the best with the best chemistry, Toby or Andrew?" And he says, "Oh, Toby, landslide. Like, there's no contest. Easily, Toby was the best one to see around Tom Holland." He basically slipped up and confirmed that they're in the film. So at this rate, it's confirmed through leaks that have been taken down by Sony, and it's confirmed through their actors accidentally slipping up at wrong times. It's kind of confirmed. So, what do I feel? I feel like Doc Ock's for sure, Green Goblin's for sure, Electro obviously for sure. I'd have to give it to a Lizard, because while I don't personally believe that Sandman will show up, I feel like what they could do is this. Green Goblin, Doc Ock, the two most well-known villains from the Sam Raimi films. Lizard, Electro, the two most well-known villains from the Amazing Spider-Man films. And the ones that have probably the least amount of scrutiny behind them, because let me tell you, Goblin and Rhino from there, people hate those. Then you get Vulture, which is 5, and Mysterio, which is 6. Leave that there, you get 2 villains from each individual franchise, and I think that works. While I would love to see Sandman come back, I don't really see what you would do with that, because Sandman could be a really good fight. That could be a fight that all 3 Spider-Man would have to team up to take down. That would be great. Same, But like, I don't know. I guess you'd have to make it the Sinister Syndicate, or you just literally would have to not bring back Mysterio to make it the Sinister Six. But yeah. Also in the trailer, it seems like Doctor Strange is fighting Spider-Man in the mirror dimension, and he's also punching the soul out of him while he has this box. There is also a leak, so spoiler alert for like the next minute if you don't want to hear any of this. There's a leak. Three, two, one. Skip to like the next minute. Go. So there's this leak that's been going around that basically, at the beginning of the film, or like in the first 30 minutes to 40 minutes, those villains all get out and they destroy a good chunk of New York. They get captured by some manner or some means by Strange and Spider Man. However, what ends up happening is that when they get captured, Goblin convinces Peter, hey, if we go back to our native dimension, our Spider-Man are murderers. They will kill us. So, like, please get us out of here. Holland feels bad for them, and he tries to get them out by using that cube. Doctor Strange ends up having to fight him over the cube, so there's a mini fight between them. Now, that's interesting. I could see that because he's using trains and illusions and all that throughout the thing. It'd be interesting to see that fight. Obviously, Spider-Man doesn't stand a chance against Doctor Strange. But, spoilers off for this, this is my personal theory, and I'm almost willing to bet money on it. I am willing to bet Mysterio will show up in the movie because, bear with me on this, it would make the most sense so we can finally get a fight between Holland, Andrew, and Toby. Because what Mysterio can do is he can show up, do illusions on Toby, Holland, and Andrew, do illusion tech on all of them, get them seeing things, get them tripping balls, and get them fighting each other. And this could finally answer the question of which Spider-Man is the best. Obviously, Tobey's the best. It's clear as day because he has organic weapon and he is the strongest. I mean, he doesn't need his help to fucking fix a fucking boat. But, he could do it on his own when he fucking stopped an entire train. Like, fucking hell. So I think Tobey would win that fight. But that would be the easiest way for us to get a fight between the three is illusion tech from Mysterio. So I really feel like Mysterio is going to show up in some form or fashion. Whether he's dead or alive, he's going to show up, use his illusion tech on those three, and get them to fight each other. Maybe like the villains are getting like overwhelmed, so they need a way to escape. So Mysterio shows up, uses his illusion tech to make them fight each other, making them think that each one is the villains, and the villains are able to escape for another fight so that they can regroup and rethink their strategy, whereas those three have to fight each other, and then Tom Holland's realizing, oh shit, like this is the illusion tech, and he's trying to like reason with them, like, listen, you're being like controlled, like break out of it, and they can't see, what he sees because he's already fought Mysterio. So while they're fighting, maybe Toby or Andrew gets the upper hand on the others, and Holland during this fight is not taking it too seriously because he's looking for where the drones are. And eventually he finds the drones, knocks them out, and he's able to save them from basically killing each other. I feel like that's what would happen. And it would show, one, who would win that fight. And two, it would also show like Tom Holland being a little bit smarter in terms of battles, being able to look for things that the others are not looking for because they never fought someone like Mysterio. So it could give him some kudo points and whoever wins the fight some kudo points. I think that would work. So that's what I'm willing to bet on. I hope one that they have the original two Spider-Men in there, and I hope they have them fight because it would make the most sense and it'd be huge fan service. Either way, so with that, guys, it's one a wonderful video to close. I'm Killzone, and I'm out for now. Peace.